3.6 liter Chrysler engine. Pentastar engine. Maybe the Pentadaddy will comment on this. As it started getting cold out, this started making a ticking noise. Owner is a fairly knowledgeable guy. He knows about the problem with the lifters on this. The rockers, right here to right here, got rollers. Can we see them? Ah, rollers right there. Maybe we can get a better shot. Yeah, better shot. They can get damaged and not roll no more and eat up the cams. So the owner's like, ooh, I hope I don't have that problem. Usually happens when you don't do your oil changes on time and you abuse your vehicle. Everything looks pretty clean on this engine. All the rollers are looking fine. With the mechanic's stethoscope, I could hear that it was in this general vicinity of the engine. Nice and quiet there, but noise does travel through metal. With the engine running, intake's in the way, but I put my steth all over it and it just seems like it's loudest right in this area, right here. And it's louder the colder the engine is and the colder it is outside. With the owner here, I'm like, honestly, that doesn't sound like the classic rocker roller lifter eating up cam problem. To me, it sounds like a broken guide or a slacky chain or a bum tensioner. Honestly, if it was my vehicle, I probably would have waited for it to get worse. It really was very, very light. Look at this. This is like a little bit of metallic debris that your engine builds up over the years. Ooh, shiny. Looks and feels like anti-seize. Kind of cool. While it's running, just from the sound of it, my head is just saying tensioner, tensioner. So we got the top end torn apart. There's your intake, valve cover, all that. And now we can look down here. You can see the timing cover splits right about there. So if you want to get into the timing components, all this has to go. It's a liquidation sale. I take my screwdriver right on this timing chain guide right here. You can see the timing chain feels tight between the two cams. But just a little pressure on this guide, and it goes back. It went back probably 2 or 3 times as far as that before I messed with the tensioner. Right here's our tensioner. It has a little ratcheting hook on it and like a little piston. And it keeps this guide tight and keeps the chain tight right here. The little ratcheting mechanism, you can see a little hole right here. I pulled it out. I just with my screwdriver gently went thump, and it goes click, and now our chain is much more tight. I wish I would have filmed myself doing that, but I was just kind of inspecting everything, doing my thing, wasn't planning on filming. I could see it much better with my eyes than a camera, but you can see there's like a little piston, and on top of that is a little ratcheting mechanism. It's got little teeth in it, so once it goes so far, it can't go back in. And that is a long guide for the chain. I've done tons of oil coolers, valve covers, and stuff on these Pentastar engines, but never timing. I have a ton of customers with these engines, and never had one come in needing timing. Now, I do a crap ton of suspension and tire work around here. Engine tune-up and performance. I dabble in some electrical. With the state of my garage right now, I've been turning down timing jobs, unless they're ones I like a LS engine or something like that. Whatever, I'll take them on when I feel like it, when I'm slow. One bay garage, one lift. Don't like to get tied down for more than a day. So I got 2 websites pulled up right now, Rock Auto and my Napa Pro link for reference. We have the right tensioner, and then there's the left and the primary. You can see this left one has the little ratcheting mechanism where it goes out as the guides or the chains start to wear. Go over to a different shot, and this piston is operated by oil pressure. So if you had low oil pressure, it could cause slack in the chain. With the screwdriver on that guide, I could make this thing go way back. Just kind of felt like a sloppy timing chain tensioner. You could just easily go don't. Now we click on the upper left, and that's what our tensioner looks like on that side. See this guy, I put my screwdriver on it and just real gently went outwards, and it went click. And now our chain's much tighter. See if there's another look at this. See how it kind of hugs the lip on what keeps your chain tight right there? It got these little teeth in it, so as it comes out, as it extends, it can't go back in. Kind of like a floor jack when you pull it up and then you try to push it back in. Kind of like this. It goes out, see those little teeth? Won't go back in. Like a floor jack. So it was like this, and my guide was nice and floppy with the screwdriver. And I went like this with the screwdriver. Gave it a click. Can't go back in further, and now my guide is much tighter and my chain stays tighter. I think I'm right that it's the timing chain tensioner that was starting with that slight noise. That was the cause of the problem. And I would like to discuss options with the customer. Everything looks beautiful inside the engine, nice and clean, like it's been kept up with the oil changes. He bought it fairly recently, so doesn't know a lot about the history. So if we take the timing cover apart, does he want to change the chain and everything and all the components while we're in there? I guess I could use a little bit of advice from somebody more experienced than me on these engines, like the Pentastar or somebody. Anyways, that's what we're working on today. I'm about to cover this stuff back up, give this fellow a call, tell him what we found, what his engine looks like, pull it on out of here because I got 2 other cars waiting that have pretty quick jobs. A little 1-hour valve cover, a little diagnosis, a washer pump that's not working, and a couple other little things to make sure it's the pump or wiring, or if it's the multifunction switch, and get some parts coming for that. But done with this for today. Could use a little bit of advice. And what is up with the paint markings on these cams? Do they all just come with paint marker from the factory? Has this been opened up before? Just trying to figure it out. But if you look, we got one little line on the cam there, but everything else, there's just a little bit of fuzz got on there, is looking clean and tight. I don't know, everything's looking pretty good to me. While we're this far, should we do that oil cooler? It looks like there's a little bit of oil there, and this one still looks original. Yeah, we still got the Chrysler logo there, and replace them. I always replace them with the all metal ones, not the plastic ones down there. I've already done quite a few of them this year. I think this was like 118,000 miles. Right around the time they go out, or sooner. Would be a good time to do that at the same time. I'm by no means an expert on the internals of these 3.6 liters. They seem to run forever, and the only thing I change is, spark plugs, intake gaskets, oil coolers, tons of exhaust work, tires, suspension all day long. I know a lot of people talk about the cams being eaten up, but I have a ton of customers with these. Loyal customers. Bring them in. And I've never seen a timing fail. And I've never seen a cam eaten up from one of these. Maybe my customers do their oil changes on time. I don't know. I work on a ton of them. And this is my first time really having to tear apart the internals of one. But I see the paint marker on the cams. I don't think that's from the factory. He bought this, I'm pretty sure he said, with 118,000 miles on it. Now has 125, and the noise just started in the winter. So he hasn't been through a winter. So was this one of them situations where a lot or something took on a vehicle? It had the classic, hey, I wasn't changing my oil on time, and it ate up a cam. They replaced the lifters, cams, everything. I don't know what the story is. I got to do some more detective work, call this guy, and get these other 2 cars knocked out. Let me know what you all think.